Today I'm joined by Hayley Andrews, who's got many titles, so I'll let her introduce herself and then we'll get going.
Okay, so I've been in the industry now since 2002. I'm an investor and developer. I've done everything from buy-to-lets, small HMOs, large HMOs, bars, restaurants, schools, pay and display car parks. I've just finished a museum, entertainment quarter. I own a construction company, estate and lettings agency, a training organisation, and of course I'm the founder of Hard Hats to Heels.
Which is quite a lot in short time.
Yeah.
So take it each stage. How did you get into property to start with?
So I started with just your vanilla buy-to-lets. I was hooked from there, really. I'm quite a frugal person. I was on really good income. Every penny that I had, I would just purchase the next one and the next one. So I built a really good size standard buy-to-let portfolio, just rented out to you families and couples.
I think what a lot of people that have been in the amount of time that you've done, they evolve from buy-to-lets to where you are now.
Yeah.
So going from the first buy-to-let to your first next project outside of the buy-to-let, what was that?
It was a HMO, for blue-collar workers. It was a 4-bedroom house, semi-detached, that I converted into just a 5-person HMO. There wasn't en-suites in every room or anything like that. 20-odd years ago, people really didn't care as much as they do now. It's a different model. But it was rented out to blue-collar workers. I still own that in my portfolio today. I purchased it at 140. And rented it out for around £105 per week per room. Yeah.
And then getting into the wacky ones that you do now, quirky, wacky?
Yeah, so I stayed with HMOs for quite a long time. I also dabbled in rent to rent because cash flow was what we was looking for, and sourcing as well. So I was doing buy, renovate, rent, refinance alongside rent to rent, and I was just doing your 4, 5, 6 bed HMOs, not requiring planning or anything like that. Then I moved into your larger stuff, which was your factories, into cluster flats, which were like 21 bed HMOs and things like that. And at the point then when cash flow really wasn't an issue, I then started to look at your commercial, your asset management, commercial conversions into hotels and self-check-in and things like that.
But how do you, I think what a lot of people are interested in, how do you go from finding it to seeing the vision to making it all happen?
I'm just one of those people that gets bored very easily. I mean, property for me has been my vehicle to wealth, but I'm an entrepreneur first and foremost. So I've always had businesses that have run, in the background, which are predominantly around property. So I kind of monetize every angle I possibly can. And really, when cash flow wasn't something that I had to focus on, or we were comfortable and we were actually getting good cash flow, that then gave me choice. And then I started to look at things that would interest me. And that's when I started to look at, bigger projects, different types of projects. Most of the projects that I actually do, most people would walk away from. I focus a lot on listed buildings. I specialise in listed buildings, and I tend to find problem properties that nobody wants to touch. I get them dirt cheap, solve the problems, and that's where I make my money.
Then was there a point along the journey, probably quite earlier on than recent, that you went from doing it part-time or doing it as a hobby to doing it full-time and walking away from a job or an income?
Yeah, so I haven't been employed now for 19 years. I replaced my income within 2 years of starting to do HMOs. My buy-to-let portfolio originally wasn't really cash flowing that well, and if it was just covering the mortgage payments and things like that. And I kind of, in the beginning, just saw it as a pension plan. The idea was to pay the mortgages off over a 25-year period and then retire on the income from that portfolio. But what really kicked me into doing property full time and focusing on cash flow and getting educated and looking at all of the different types of strategies that you can do was my husband. My husband got ill. He had to have brain surgery and all things like that. He was a self-employed Oracle developer at the time, so he was on really, really good income, over £100,000 a year, and we lost his income overnight. So the plan had to change.
Yeah.
So we had to replace the income very
It's
quickly.
still quite a change, because going from buy-to-lets,
Yeah.
HMOs, to then some of the ones you're doing now, there's
Well, it's a
so
huge
going into the
lesson.
first listed building, for instance, that
Yeah.
must have been either worrying, nervous, or how did you suddenly realise you knew what to do?
So I don't think you suddenly realise what to do.
But some people wouldn't even know where to go looking to
So,
get the consent.
I mean,
and
the
so on.
reason I started looking at buildings like that was because there was so much competition, and I really wanted to take out the competition. So I recognised that most people saw listed buildings as an issue and would stay away. It was a conversation that happened a lot during the networking and people that I was talking to within our industry. So really I thought, well, okay, that's where I can make my money.
Yeah.
I can buy well, and as long as I can solve the problems, then I'll make money out of it. So that's when I started studying up and swatting up on listed buildings. I joined several preservation trusts, volunteered my time, got into their contacts, leveraged those relationships and delivered excellent projects.
I would imagine, I only know from speaking to people, that from finding one to completing one and then finishing the actual project is a lot more drawn out and a lot more effort than even the HMO conversions.
100%.
And you've got to be fully committed and probably have a wealthy, not a wealthy background, but something to fall back on, knowing that you can get that project finished.
Yeah, there's no way I would have been able to take on projects like that without the experience I had behind me, the teams that I have, but also the cash flow. Having reserve capital and good, decent cash flow to fall back on was really what allowed
But it's all come from the original buy-to-lets to the
100%,
HMOs and all the way through.
Slow stepping stone, and
I wouldn't call it slow in that short a period. It's still
23 years.
It's still, some people would be surprised I do it a lot longer and don't get that big. But it's still, I always find because people now put out there what they do and you see the projects, some people try and jump too quickly from one extreme to the other, thinking that I've seen you do it, I've seen this one do it, and they want to copy it. And that's the ones that the projects go wrong.
Absolutely. I mean, with any project, there's risk, but it's about understanding what risk is within that project without the experience, the teams and everything behind you.
On that note, I'll ask you two projects, your best one and your worst one.
Worst one was a bank that I did actually as an exit lender. So everything could have possibly have gone wrong with that. We still made money out of it, still in my portfolio today, but it almost cost me my marriage. And I met my husband when I was 16 years old, so life is life. But I nearly said goodbye to him during that project. It was an absolute nightmare. That was brought to me by the council. It was a building of interest on the high street, and we converted that into 11 units, but everything that could have gone wrong with that building did. Luckily, it was grant funded as well. So all of phase 1 was grant funded. So phase 2 was at the fit out was us. So we were able to still make money out of the project, but I wouldn't have done that project without grant funding.
And the best one?
It's got to be the museum that I've just completed.
Well, it was a museum.
It was a museum.
Now it's
It had a covenant to say it could only be used as a museum. And I've converted it we got planning permission and converted it into Fun City.
Which includes what?
It's a funky bar and restaurant, karaoke rooms, laser tag, shuffleboards, digital darts, cricket cages, sports simulators, escape rooms.
Everything.
Yeah, it's fun, let's say.
I picked up on something earlier. As well as doing the projects, you now got your own construction team.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It just came about because it's smart business. So, of course, it's it's a separate business to you as an individual and to the companies that are buying the properties.
Also makes your projects quicker.
It does. You have a hell of a lot more control. Obviously, you're employing your staff as well, which reduces your costs from that perspective. So it just made sense from the volume that we were doing to do that.
Does that mean, though, you have to have projects lined up for them, or they go and get their own, or you get other stuff for them outside of your portfolio?
Yeah, so I've always got projects lined up for them, and they're my projects predominantly that they work on, although we do offer out to anyone that's doing listed buildings as a service, because that's what we specialise in.
So, next stage.
Yeah.
You've done 20 years.
Yeah.
Just over. A woman in property and finance.
Yeah.
Has led to Hard Hat to Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
If you give the background of that and what it is and what it stands for now.
So Hard Hats to Heels is a networking event for women in property and business. It really came about just to create a space for women to be women, to leverage each other and to do business. There's a hell of a lot of business that's done in the room, and it was about shining a spotlight on phenomenal women in the industry. I've seen amazing women over the years, and they just slip under the radar. No one knows who they are. They are just practicing what they preach, getting on with it and building unbelievable portfolios. And I wanted to give them a platform, a stage and a mic in their hand to tell people what they're doing. And it all really comes about from the award that I brought forward to all major award ceremonies, which is Woman in Property of the Year. And that is about visibility. You can't be what you can't see. And the idea was to show the next generation strong, solid women smashing it in this industry. And
I think it crosses over as well, because from when I started with in the finance side, the banks was predominantly male.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably nearer 50-50 now.
Yeah.
And that's not just at the ground level, it's getting up into the board level.
Yeah.
And I would say at least 50-50 on phone calls I get from male and female looking for finance for projects.
Yeah.
From my experience, the women are more thorough, the paperwork's better.
Yeah.
The men sort of seem to know their figures on the build projects, but not great at their paperwork.
No.
And that's reflected sometimes in the applications we get.
Yeah.
The best scenario for me is one of each, where they're a couple and they one's good at it, one's good at the sales, one's good at the project, and it all comes together.
Yeah.
You get, I wouldn't say you get best of both, but it's nice that
more
and more. Yeah, it's easier to deal with rather than one shouting at you and one shouting, "Where's the paperwork?" You know, it's like a married couple sometimes, and they do perform in that way.
Yeah.
And that's sales and admin as well. Vice versa. I'm not saying which one's the sales and which one's the admin, because the women now are actually looking at more and more projects.
Yeah.
So with the networking, with the Hard Hat to Hills, you do it not just London, it's all around the country.
Yes. So we started with one location in Birmingham, and we've gone to 12 locations throughout the UK. So that's 12 events per month.
That's quite a lot.
It is.
Quite a commitment.
Yeah.
And anyone can come along, any female can join.
Yeah, so it's for women in property and business. Anyone can come along. There's no membership or anything like that. It is pay as you go. It's good, solid women in the room, and we do mix-ins as well. So once a quarter, we do a mix-in where guys can come along as well.
And you do have male speakers sometimes.
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Not purely because some lenders staff that perform or present are male, but it's still selling the service.
Yeah, and while I'm pro women, that doesn't mean I'm anti men. Many of my major backers have been male or male led businesses. And that's obviously down to me as an investor, developer, and their confidence in me, nothing to do with me being male or female. No. So we absolutely do have men on our stage, and there's lots of men within my team that champion women, and there's lots of men like yourself in the industry that really do encourage women in this industry. So.
And with that, the 12 locations, how is that more plan for next year, or is it
Yes.
that's already enough commitment short
Yes,
term?
so this year was about growth, getting those 12 locations out, establishing a good customer base in each location on the ground, good solid hosts to run those locations as well, and getting good speakers on those stages. Next year we are going global, so we're going to 18 different countries next year, so that's where the focus will be. But we are planning to do 18 in the UK next year as well. So there's still growth and more locations to come on in the UK, but the focus will be international.
So for a couple of final points, looking back 23 years ago to where you are now, what advice would you give male and female people starting out on their journey?
Done is better than perfect, but it's about return on time as well as money.
Great. Thank you very much. That ends today's episode, so please look out on all social media outlets for future episodes coming out.